In a world where us toy collectors lament the lack of drive that toy companies have taken with releases over the years, I gotta say this new Lightyear collection from Mattel really feels like a blast from the past. I feel like it's been forever since we've had a new movie get this much of a push from a toy company. So these new Disney Pixar Lightyear toys from Mattel, are they awesome? We'll find out on this episode of Geek Dad Life. Hello everybody and welcome to Geek Dad Life. It's your host, Jay Glatfelter here. It doesn't seem that long ago when toy companies used to go all out helping to promote a new film by releasing a ton of new action figures, vehicles, and play sets to support the release. From Batman to Jurassic Park, even weird outliers like Demolition Man, if it could somehow appeal to kids, it usually had a toy line. And in some cases, you had toy lines supporting rated R films like Terminator 2, Aliens, and Predator. You could say this all started with Kenner's amazing Star Wars toy line in the late 70s, which revolutionized the way you could market a movie by selling toys to kids. You had different scales, you had vehicles, you had play sets. It really kind of set the template that so many toy companies use for decades after. And that's why it's so sad that Star Wars is somewhat of a poster child for the change in the way toy companies have approached action figure releases. Gone are the awesome play sets, vehicles that were scaled to the 3 3/4 inch toy line, and a very sparse assortment of figures that don't correlate with characters we're seeing on screen right now, but from series from a year to 2 years to 3 years ago. And that's what interests me the most about these Lightyear toys from Mattel. Disney Pixar's Lightyear seems to follow a real-life version of the iconic character from the Toy Stories franchise, Buzz Lightyear. And while I honestly have no clue what to expect going into this movie, the trailer looks pretty good. I love the character from the Toy Story films. My kids do as well, so we're all excited to see this movie. But other than that, I really don't know what to expect going into it, aside from what we've seen in the trailers. And that's what's fascinated me about this Lightyear toy line. Unlike what we've seen from the Star Wars toys, as well as the Marvel toys, which basically only give you figures in slightly different scales, we're getting every conceivable character and scale for this Lightyear toy line. We have the Hyperspeed series, which kind of is like one of those larger Micro Machine vehicles. You can put little miniature figures in. We have a standard 5.5 inch scale figure series that actually has true blue vehicles that the figures can fit inside. I realize that's a sad state of affairs that I'm that excited over something so simple, but it just kind of goes to show how rare it is these days. Star Wars, again, outside of a HasLab and some re-releases, we haven't gotten a new Star Wars vehicle to support any of these new series in years. Deluxe figures, 12-inch scale figures, animatronic soft goods figures. Really, Mattel has gone all out for this Lightyear series, and again, it has kind of captured my attention because it's all of these new toys for characters that I kind of know, like with Lightyear, but other than that, pretty much all new characters and new ships and new things to be excited about. And because of that excitement, I had to buy some of these toys to kind of open up and review here on this channel. The first of these is the Hyperspeed series XL-15 Buzz Lightyear ship. Now again, I don't know what this ship or how this ship will feature in the new movie, but I think this one seems to be like his main vehicle because that's the one that actually made a 5.5 inch scale vehicle for this toy line. And then it also kind of evokes the look of his cardboard package ship that he was trying to repair in the first film. I really dig this Hyperspeed series. It is right out of the Micro Machines Star Wars Action Fleet book, and I loved that series of toys when I was growing up, and this is no different. You got a little minifigure that can go into, not a Micro Machines size ship, but a fairly small ship that's easy to kind of zoom around. And honestly, for my kids, my youngest son Alex, who is 4, absolutely loves this ship. The second he saw it, he took it for his own and hasn't stopped playing with it. Next up is the 5.5 inch scale regular release figures. And again, this is just a blast from the past. Much like Kenner's Batman toys, where you had like every different type of version of Batman that you could possibly ever imagine buying, the same is true with Buzz Lightyear in this toy line. You have him without his flight suit, you have different versions of flight suits, and then you have his iconic spacesuit in different versions. You have a glow-in-the-dark version, you have a Crystal Series version, you have a deluxe version that kind of is, I would think, the most, all-encompassing version of this action figure. So I haven't seen the movie yet, but I think you could potentially buy any look from this upcoming film. We've also got some of the other characters in the film, like Izzy Hawthorne, played by Keke Palmer. We've also got Taika Waititi's character, Mo Morrison. Now, I don't think they're releasing another one of, which I assume is, kind of a main character, Darby Seal, just yet. I haven't seen it on shelves anyway. It's not on the cross-sell artwork on the back of these cards, but all of these characters are also in a kind of deluxe package set that unfortunately I saw after I already bought a lot of these figures. But if you are on the lookout for getting, I guess, the complete team from the film, these sets I've seen pretty regularly at Target. That deluxe wave is also the only way you can get a Cyclops figure, as well as the evil Emperor Zurg. I think he's just titled Zurg here, so I don't know if he'll be an emperor in the film. Both the Cyclops and Zurg tower over the regular 5.5-inch releases from this toy line. And at first I was like, are these horribly out of scale? But again, in seeing some of the clips from the trailer, I do think these are actually scaled appropriately to the 5.5-inch scale toy line. Again, I don't know for sure till I see the film, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the Zurg and the Cyclops Trooper for your 5.5-inch figures. But the main reason I bought these toys and got into this toy line is the Blast and Battle XL-15 ship, which feels like a little bit of a unicorn in today's toy aisles. It is a ship that is scaled to fit the 5.5-inch figures from the main retail line. Us toy collectors are so starved for vehicles from any line that creative and enterprising toy collectors have already customized this ship to fit in with other toy lines like the G.I. Joe Classified series. So Mattel gets a lot of points just on making the thing and releasing the thing on retail shelves, but is it actually a good toy? I'm happy to say it is, with a few caveats. The first of them being this blast into action feature that the jet has. It's kind of the biggest thing that it does. And while I think it's pretty cool how you can kind of pull a back tab and then the Buzz Lightyear kind of springs into action, opens up the canopy, he's standing up, the wings pop out. I think that's a cool move, but it's kind of hard to get the Buzz Lightyear into position. It's also kind of hard to get him out of the plane, even when he kind of quote-unquote blasts into action. So it's a neat feature that looks cool when you first use it, but in practice, and this is after my two boys, ages 4 and 8, played with this ship, they had a tough time getting Buzz in and out of this kind of impressive but frustrating action feature. The other thing I wish we had were some paint apps, or at least some stickers, just to give it a little bit more color. It's a little bland in the paint department, which again is pretty standard these days for toys, but I really think a sticker sheet or a few more paint apps really could have improve the look of this vehicle. The last minor critique is the landing gear. The wheels are actually molded wheels, they're not functional wheels, and they're kind of a little bit floppy. So this is a fairly decently sized ship, so it doesn't quite support the weight of the vehicle too well. And I'd be curious to see if it could withstand long-term play, at least with my kids. But overall, I think it's a really cool vehicle. Again, it's just great that we're getting this vehicle to begin with, but it still looks pretty cool. My kids have loved, zooming around the house pretending to be Buzz Lightyear in his spaceship. So, sure, I would have preferred easy in and out access for the Buzz Lightyear figure. Even my kids would have preferred that, but the little launching missiles is cool, and overall, it's a pretty darn cool vehicle, especially when you see all of the great customizations that people have done to fit in with other toy lines. So overall, I love the approach that Mattel took with the Lightyear toy line. They went all out. They gave us multiple scales, tons of vehicles. I mean, really just about any type of toy that your kid could want. Mattel has done this with multiple toy lines. The Jurassic World figures are stacked, supporting the new movie this summer, and we all know how well of a job they've done with Masters of the Universe. So if your kid is really into Buzz Lightyear, or you've seen the Lightyear movie and you want some toys for it, I highly recommend the Disney Pixar Lightyear toys from Mattel. I'd like to thank the people that make this show possible and my patrons. You can find a full list of them right here. If you'd like to help this channel grow, become a patron today at patreon.com/geekdadlife. Definitely check out some of my other videos like this one that YouTube wants you to check out, and one of my more recent videos. And until next time, hasta luego and goodbye.